Hey, this is Zach Varda. This week on Over the Boards, we talked to Buckeye alum and New York Islander forward Tanner Fritz. Today on Over the Boards, we have Tanner Fritz joining us, who is now playing in the NHL with New York Islanders. And Tanner, I'm wondering if you could kind of, for our listeners, give them a feel of maybe what your daily schedule is like now. I know you have been with the Islanders, but you've also been in the AHL, so just kind of what that experience has been like.
Yeah, no, it's a lot different than college life. You have a lot more spare time, but you play probably around 40 more games a season, so I guess you're busier that way. But daily schedule is usually during the week is practice in the morning, and then kind of out of the rink by around 1 or 2, and then you kind of have the day to do whatever you want, which is a little bit different than college because usually you practice and then you got school all day. So in that aspect, it's different. But yeah, just more free time, I guess, and to hang out with friends. And I have my fiance with me, so me and her do a lot of hanging out and stuff. So it's been good.
Tanner, I'm more curious, and so you're going into the NHL now, and from Ohio State. What do you think Ohio State had an impact on you getting to the next level?
I think they helped me grow as a person, and not just on the ice, but off the ice. And I think when I went to school, I was a little bit immature, but through my 4 years there, I think from the staff and people that you meet there, professors, that just helps you mature as an adult. I was becoming an adult, and I just feel like I think that was the biggest thing for me, was maturing, not just on and off the ice, and that just helped me become more professional and take my academics and also my hockey a little bit more seriously.
You mentioned what it was like coming into Ohio State, and I think for people that don't know, college hockey players have it a little bit differently than other collegiate athletes, because you play junior hockey before you get to Ohio State, and usually college hockey players come in at a little bit of an older age. So I'm just kind of wondering looking back, what it was like from going from junior hockey to college hockey, and if there's any comparisons to now making the jump to the professional level.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different than the major junior levels that other players do, but like you said, I was a little bit older when I came into school, which was I didn't think was a big deal at the time, and I still don't today. My career just happened to kickstart at a later date, and I ended up at school a little bit later, but I think I was a little bit more ready to make the jump to pro hockey than some of the younger guys do when they leave major junior at 18 to 19 to make it to the professional ranks. And I left school at 24, so I feel like guys that do that are a little bit more ready for that jump to the professional level, and their bodies are more matured and a little bit stronger because you do a lot more working out and stuff in school. You have a lot more time for that.
I'm kind of interested. You said you had a lot of time you have a lot of time now that you're in the NHL. You coming off of practice, you typically just can hang out and do what you like. Have you gotten to watch much of the Buckeyes play this year?
I've actually really haven't seen many of their games. I follow all the updates on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, so I keep close tabs that way. But it's cool to see them have success like they are. And through my 4 years, we didn't have the success they were having like they are the last couple of years. So as an alumni, it's cool to watch that, and it's great for the program. And hopefully they can just keep building off that, and hopefully eventually become a national championship team.
I'm wondering what you see your role as, or if you do see yourself having a role as an alumni, where you're going to be someone that, on recruiting trips, they're going to be able to say, look, like, we have someone like Tanner Fritz in the NHL now. So what's it like as you move on in your own career, kind of keeping that connection to Ohio State, if you do, and you kind of touched on it, what the pride is in seeing the Buckeyes be successful?
Yeah, obviously I would love to be a part of that. being a Buckeye means a lot to me, and like everyone says, you bleed scarlet and gray, and it was the best 4 years of my life, and I have so many people to thank for getting me there and helping me stay there. It's it's just it was an unbelievable experience, and to look back now, it's been a few years out of school. It's great to see them having the success they are. It's unbelievable city. It's a great school. The staff is great there, and I just hope that they can just keep building off the success they've had the last couple of years and just really become a top contender when they talk about good Division I programs, because I think they deserve it.
Moving a little away from the Buckeyes and kind of back to your story, I mean, I grew up playing sports, but obviously never at the level you were at, and a lot of kids grow up. What was it like to finally step on the NHL ice? I don't know if it's something you can put into words, but if you wouldn't mind trying for us, I guess just that feeling of working so hard for so long and finally achieving a childhood dream.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience and something I'll never forget. It's just, I had nerves the whole day. I couldn't really sleep the night before when I knew I was playing, and yeah, just to get on the ice and look up in the stands and realize that you've made your childhood dream come true. And I was lucky enough to have my dad and my brother in the stands, so to be able to share that with them was just a great experience. And I've worked so hard to get there, but I've also had so many people help me get to where I am today. So without those people, my family, friends, players that I've played with, coaches, I would never be in the situation I am today. So I'm very thankful and grateful for the people I've met and, the opportunities I've had.
So, Tanner, you're actually one of the first players we've actually gotten to speak to, alumni or current player on Ohio State's team. I'm curious if you ever noticed a culture building or some sort of what type of culture you experienced at Ohio State that you think may have led to the success that they're seeing now.
Yeah, I think the culture is, when I went there, it kind of changed a bit, and I think it's just now it's more focused on team first. And I know, as a quote we used, I believe my last 2 years, it was "as one," is our head coach used a term, and everything we do is as a team and for each other, and I think they've kept doing that, and that's the way you have success in college hockey or in any hockey, really, is a team, and there's no individuals. You're not going to win with just one guy. You're going to win as a group of 25 players or whatever it is on a team. So I think that's a culture they're trying to build, and I think they're doing a really good job of that.
We talked recently, talking about Buckeye hockey, talking about the importance of third and fourth line players, and I'm wondering, kind of going off of that, what it's like for you going from being the superstar here at Ohio State to when you're trying to break into the NHL ranks, you kind of have to go and play on those third and fourth lines, and what kind of adjustment that has been for you.
Yeah, my whole life I've just tried to be the best player I could be in any situation. I've tried to be coachable and be able to play first to fourth line. You got to be able to score goals, but you also have to be able to play in your own end. And coming to the NHL, in the American League, I was playing first line, playing 20 to 25 minutes a game, but now I'm playing 8 to 12 minutes a game. So definitely an adjustment, but you're in the NHL, so you can take what you can get, and you just have to learn how to play that role and adjust to who you're playing with, and just more so just you got to limit the mistakes, I guess, because your ice time is dipped down to whatever 10 minutes a game. So it's an adjustment, but I'm happy to be here.
So making it to the NHL from Ohio State, not many players do that. What advice would you give to current players now, or any player, to make that step in the future?
Just keep working at it. After my 4th year at school, I never had any NHL interest or anything like that. I went and played in the East Coast League for half a season and then made my way to the American Hockey League and spent almost 2 years there before I got my first NHL call-up. So, it can happen to anyone, but the biggest advice I can give is just to keep working at it, keep getting better. You never know who's watching you, and, the dream's never over until someone tells you. So you just got to keep working at it and, really just never give up and be relentless because, the opportunities will come, and when they do, hopefully it'll help players, get to the NHL.
A little more of I guess, a lighthearted or fun question I'm curious is, are there any players that you've either been able to play with or play against that you've been, particularly excited about, or maybe even a little starstruck when if you get on the ice and Sidney Crosby's across from you, so to speak? Is there anybody that you were particularly excited to share the ice with?
Yeah, obviously, I would want to play against Sidney Crosby. He's when I grew up, he's a guy that I've always looked up to, and I still watch to this day. He's an amazing athlete, so he's definitely one. But even John Tavares on our team, being able to watch him day to day in practice and in games and see how hard he works and how talented he is, it just shows that, he's earned everything he's gotten, and it's just pretty cool to see that, looking up to those guys, watching those guys the last couple of years, but now you're playing alongside them it's pretty cool, and you get a little bit starstruck.
So I know you guys are kind of making your big push for the wild card spot now, and all of us here in Columbus kind of hope it doesn't come at the expense of the Jackets. But what do you see as the outlook for the Islanders for the rest of the season? Not to put you on the spot or put on your analyst hat, but you guys have looked really good lately, and how far do you see this team being able to take it?
Yeah, it's definitely a talented team. We have a lot of offensive weapons, so to speak, but the potential here is through the roof, and there's only 28 games left, about 8 weeks left in the season, and we're in a playoff push right now, and every game's so crucial, especially how tight the division is and how tight the wild card spot is. So every game from here on out is going to be a playoff game. So it's just this is the fun time of the year where you treat everything like the playoff hockey, and that's everyone's goal, is to make the playoffs and be able to play for the Stanley Cup. So it's fun to be a part of, and hopefully we can just make a strong push here at the end of the season and make the playoffs.
Thanks for joining us on Over the Boards. Join us next week for more discussion on Buckeye hockey.